好啦，咁 chlorine 咧其實就 form covalent bond 啦。咁嗱就係 non-metal and non-metal. So for non-metal and non-metal, they will form covalent bond. But for metal and metal, there are no such bonds between metal and metal except pure elements of metal that will form metallic bond. But it is a different story that we mentioned in chapter 7. Okay, so here today we will talk about covalent bond between non-metal and non-metal. So let me give you some more examples about covalent bond. So for example, we have here NH3. So this one NH3. So how can N and H form covalent bond? So just now we talked about chlorine and chlorine atom, they form covalent bond one by one. But here, for N, here, N and then 3H. So what happened to this? Because, so we will, okay, let me tell you why for nitrogen and hydrogen it will form NH3 but not NH. So because for nitrogen, so let us talk about the electronic arrangement first. For nitrogen it is 2, 5, and for hydrogen it's 1. So for nitrogen it needs to have 3 more electrons to become stable because it just have 5 electrons now in the outermost shell. So it needs 3 more electrons to become stable. So because it needs 3 more electrons to become stable, it will share 3 electrons. 嗱，即係話咧，爭幾多粒佢就會 share 幾多粒，因為佢 share 咗出去咧，咁就會換嚟人哋又 share 俾佢，咁所以佢 share 幾多粒咧，就可以換翻幾多粒翻嚟用，咁所以佢爭幾多粒咧，就 share 幾多粒。咁所以咧 N 就爭3粒，係啦 ，N 就會爭3粒，係啦 ，N 就會爭3粒。跟住 H 咧本身係得1粒，咁佢 stable 嘅時候咧就係2粒 outermost shell， 咁所以佢就爭1粒啦。OK，N 就爭3粒 ，H 就爭1粒。咁所以咧其實就係要嗱，佢爭幾多粒咧，就 share 幾多粒。咁我首先咧，我由 step by step 教大家點畫啲 electron diagram 啦。So first of all, so we need to put the number of electrons that element need on top of the element, and then we will cross. So again, cross. After crossing, 1 will go to N, so N. For 1, I don't write 1. And then for H, so 3 electrons. So then cross, then go to H. So first of all, we can work out the formula of the compound by using this method. Using the number of electrons it needs on top, and then number of electrons for H, it needs 1, and then cross. After crossing, it will be NH3. Then you can draw the electron diagram like this. So I use another brand. Okay, so N, 1N, and then it needs 3H. Then I draw 3H because I just worked out the formula NH3. So 3H here. So let me draw again better. So 1N and then 3H. So after drawing, we need to add some electron inside. So for N it is 2, 5. So it needs 3 more electrons. So for each space, overlapping space here, so we have 3 overlapping space here. So we add 1 electron to each overlapping space. So 1 electron each because it needs 3. So we need to share 3. So 3 electron, then 1 in each space. So for N, it is 2, 5. So 5 outermost shell electron. After sharing 3, still have 2 here. So another 2 here. Okay. Then there are 5 electrons of N. Then for H, only 1 electron. So it needs to share 1 electron. So 1 here. Each. Okay. Then we finish about this electron diagram. Then at last we need to count the number of each outermost shell of each element. Okay, so let us count the number. So remember, for those electrons that are shared between 2, they can be used by both elements. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 electrons for N. So it is octet. And then for H, 1, 2. So each one get 2 and then doublet structure. Both are stable after forming this compound using covalent bond. Alright? 好啦，咁所以我好快咁重複一次。咁其實就係話佢爭幾多？即係我首先可能就要 work out 個 formula， 因為 N 呢就係2、5。H 就係1，咁佢爭幾多粒呢？就爭3粒先變8。H 就爭1粒，咁之後呢，就首先就 cross 咗落嚟，我哋揾咗佢 formula 先。咁點解要揾咗佢 formula？ 就好似 ionic bond 咁，我都會揾咗佢 formula 先。揾咗佢個 formula， 知道佢哋幾多比幾多粒 form 嘅話呢，咁就會易啲畫圖。咁我就會揾咗 N 係1啦，跟住3個 H 啦，咁所以就畫一個 N。係啦，就畫一個 N， 跟住畫3個 H 喺度，咁樣咯。好啦，咁跟住咧就入電子啦，因為咧 N 係爭3粒，咁就係 share 3粒。咁 share 3粒嘅時候咧，咁有3個位嘛，咁咪每個位 share 1粒咯。係啦，每個位 share 1粒。咁跟住咧 H 就爭1粒，咁所以咧就得1粒，咁就 share 1粒出嚟咯，每個 H。咁跟住 N 咧，因為 share 咗3粒電子啦，本身佢有5粒電子嘅，咁 share 咗3粒出嚟，咁所以咧就剩翻2粒喺自己度，咁我畫翻喺自己度。咁最後就數電子咯，咁就係N 就有8粒電子啦，數翻，跟住 H 咧就每個有2粒，咁就 stable 啦。OK， 係啦，咁就係成個過程咁樣畫啦。嗱，咁所以其實係要分到，其實好煩嘅喺呢個位，你要識得分 ionic bond。要識得分 covalent bond， 首先你要還原基本點先係 ionic bond 咧，就係 metal 加 non-metal。covalent bond 咧就係 covalent bond 咧就係 non-metal 加 non-metal， 跟住要知道佢哋個畫法有啲唔同。covalent bond 係有 overlapping 嘅。OK， 好啦 ，monocules in element 啦，呢度咧就講其他嘢啦。So we will talk about monocules first. So what are monocules? So molecule is the smallest part. Monocules is the smallest particles of an element or a compound that has chemical property of the elements and compounds. 嗱，呢度其實唔係好知佢講咩嘅。好啦，咁咧 molecule 其實係乜嘢咧？就係一堆 non-metal 嘅 atom。所組成嘅一 groups of non-metal atoms 啦，係啦 ，a monocules of an element 咧 usually consists of atom of non-metal of the same kind。嗱，俾個 example 大家，可能大家唔明佢講咩。A molecule of an element usually consists of atom of non-metal element of the same kind. For example, O2 molecules。好啦 ，O2 molecule 裏邊咧就係得 O atom 2個 O atom， 咁所以我哋可以話佢係一個 element 啦，因為淨係得 O atom 喺裏邊 ，only one kind of atom，so it is an element。係啦，呢嚿嘢點解叫做 molecule 咧？就係一 group 嘅 non-metal atom 所組成嘅，所以叫做 molecule。即係有啲名可能大家要學啦。咁 molecule 咧就係喺最即係嗱，我哋可以話 H2O 係 molecule， O2 係 molecule，CO2 係 molecule。嗱，呢啲都係 common，你大概知道佢係咩嚟嘅嘢啦。咁呢啲全部都係 molecule 喎。點解啊？因為佢哋都係 non-metal 嘅 atom 所組成。嗱，呢個係 H and oxygen 所組成，所以係 non-metal，所以佢叫 molecule 啦。呢個全部都係 O 所組成啦。呢個係 C 同 O 所組成啦，咁就叫做 molecule。爭在咧呢個咧係 element 嚟嘅，即係 O2 嘅話，全部都係同一個 atom， 即係都係 oxygen atom 所組成，所以叫做 element 啦。呢啲就叫做 compound， 係啦。呢啲 molecule 叫做 compound， 因為就係有 carbon 同 oxygen 兩種唔同嘅 atom 所組成嘅。好啦，咁係啦 chlorine molecule 我哋啱啱講咗啦。So for chlorine, it doesn't exist on its own because it is 2H7, not stable if it is like an atom. If it exists as atom, it is not stable. So it needs to form molecule first. So it needs to form chlorine molecule by covalent bond, alright? So now we need to learn some examples of molecules in elements. So for example, chlorine is Cl2, N2, O2. So you need to memorize these formulas of atom. But for argon, it is Ar. Why it is only one atom inside? Because for argon, it is a noble gas. Argon is 2H8 electronic configuration. So it is already stable. So for argon, it doesn't need to form any covalent bond because it is stable already by itself. Because it is 2H8. Alright? And for others, so here we need to learn about this word, atomicity. So what is atomicity here? So it is the number of atoms in a molecule of an element is called atomicity. 即係話佢喺 element 嘅情況嘅 molecule 有幾多粒 atom 呢？就係 atomicity 啦。好啦 ，for chlorine 嘅話呢，就兩粒 atom 喺呢度，咁所以 atomicity 就係 2 啦。And we describe it as chlorine is diatomic. So chlorine is diatomic. So because the atomicity of it is 2, so we say chlorine is diatomic. So for ozone O3 is another element of oxygen because only oxygen atoms here, but it has 3 atoms in one molecule. It is triatomic. Alright? And then for phosphorus is P4, 4 atoms inside. So it is tetraatomic. And then for S, sulfur is a little bit special. So for sulfur, it has 8 atoms in its molecules. So it is optatomic. Okay? Optatomic. Okay, so this is phosphorus and sulfur. Okay, now for this, write the formula for the following molecular elements. So you have these in this table, and then question 3, write the formula for the following elements. So for example, I just write one for you. For hydrogen, it is H2. And for metal, remember, for metal, it is just single. Just write Na here. And for neon, Ne only. Why? Neon is Ne because neon is 2H. It is already stable. No need to form covalent bond. So it is Ne only. And for D, nitrogen is N2, according to here. And then fluorine is F2 because it is not stable if it is a single atom. So it needs to form covalent bond. And it is F2. And for magnesium, it's metal only 1. mg. Okay, then after introducing the molecules in element, now we introduce about molecule in compound. So for molecule in compound, they will have atoms of non-metals of different kinds. For example, CO2. So C and O are both non-metals. But they are different. So this is C and O. So different kinds of atoms, but they are both non-metals. So for water, it consists of water molecules of 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, H2O. So it is also molecules in compounds. So this is a compound, and H2O will describe it as molecules, alright? Water molecules. Okay, there are some more examples of compounds. So we have H2O, CO2. So for this, you don't need to memorize the formula now, but I think CO2 and H2O you know. So you can write the formula of water and carbon dioxide. But for ammonia, methane, and hydrogen chloride, so we will learn how to write that formula by using the covalent bond concept that I just talked about NX3 before. Okay, then formation of covalent bond in the molecules of elements. So I have just taught you how to write the formulas of NX3 and then draw the electron diagram, but I will mention all this again by using this example. So for hydrogen, H2, so first of all, why is it H2? So because hydrogen is the one with 1 outermost shell electrons, so it needs to share with others. So it needs to share 1 electron with others. So first of all, one share electron pair. What is one share electron pair? This is the share electron pair, because this hydrogen give 1 electron out and this give 1 electron out, and they share between them. So they are called share electron pair. This is a pair, okay? Share electron pair. So for the share electron pair, it's called a covalent bond. It's called a covalent bond or a bond pair, because they are shared between them and they form bonds. So this is called bond pair. Alright? And it can be shown using a line, because 1 bond. So 1 bond. So this is the electron diagram. So this is the electron diagram. Okay, for oxygen. So for oxygen, it is 2,6. It is 2,6. So 2 electron is needed. So 2 electrons are needed. So they share 2 electron. 嗱，記住爭幾多粒就 share 幾多粒。咁佢而家係爭2粒，所以就 share 2粒。咁所以就 share 2粒出嚟咯，每個。跟住就可以數到最後呢，就大家都有8粒。點數啊？1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember, for the share pair electron, they can be used together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 electron. Alright? So for this, they have 4 electron in between. So we describe it as 2 share pair electrons. 2 pair of share electrons. 1 pair, 2 pair. Alright? So we have 2 share pair electrons. What's it? Or 2 share electron pairs. Okay, the same. And we say it as double bond, because for each pair of electron, it is 1 bond. And for 2 pairs, it is double bond. 即係話咧，如果佢中間有一對電子咧，就叫做 single bond， 即係呢個一對電子就叫做 single bond， 一個 bond。single bond 一個 bond。OK，if they have two pair of electron in between， 如果有兩個 pair 嘅電子喺中間咧，咁就每一個 pair 叫一個 bond， 咁兩 pair， 咁所以就叫 double bond 啦。Okay, for N2, so how can N2 form? So first of all, N is 2, 5. So 3 electrons are needed for each N. So then they will share 3 electron out. Okay, they will share 3 electron out. Because they are N2, because they are N2, 5, so 5 electron first in the outermost shell, but then for each N, they share 3 electron out. 1, 2, 3 electron. 好啦，本身5粒電子每個 N， 跟住 share 咗3粒出嚟，咁所以咧就5減3，所以等於2粒。咁所以剩翻2粒喺自己度啦，2粒喺 lone pair 嗰度啦，即係就係 lone pair 啦。OK， 咁所以咧就會係咁嘅樣啦，又會呢度又有2粒，因為咧佢 share 咗3粒出嚟，剩翻2粒喺度。好啦，今次咧就有3 share pair electrons 啦。And then this time it is called a triple bond because we have 3 pairs。一個 pair 就代表一個 bond， 3個 pair 就3個 bond， 所以叫做 triple bond。So there is a triple bond in between. Alright? Okay, and then now, so for this it is the bond pair. So we call this bond pair, forming bond pair. And then for these 2 electrons here, it doesn't form bond. Then we call it a lone pair. 呢啲咧就叫做 lone pair 啦，冇 form bond 嘅話咧就叫 lone pair。呢3個 pair 咧就叫 bond pair。係啦 ，bond pair 同 lone pair。Alright，bond pair 同 lone pair 啦，即係呢啲就叫 bond pair， 呢啲就叫 lone pair 啦。係啦，咁其實已經 introduce 咗一堆嘅 terms 啦。